Hello, welcome back to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel, your source for all things Everton. My name's Thomas and welcome back to another opposition view on the channel. Coming up this weekend, big game of the season against Manchester United, joined today by Jay Motty from Stretford Paddock. He's going to give us a bit of an insight into United's season so far and how he thinks the weekend might go. So, Jay, thanks for coming on. How are you doing today?
Trying to be philosophical after our defeat over in Turkey. So it's not been the best week, but hopefully for us anyway, we can turn it around on the weekend.
Yeah, let's just go back a couple of months now into the transfer window. It promised to be a big one. There was lots of rumours about United going into it. One player in particular didn't quite materialise. Flurry of activity towards the end near deadline day. What did you make of United's transfer business this season?
I found it very underwhelming, very frustrating, if I'm being brutally honest. You know, you look at you almost talk of him like he's Voldemort. He who shall not be named. One player in particular. But you know, listen, the Jadon Sancho rumours were rife. We were covering it every day on the channel. There seemed to be this sort of rumours or stories that it was almost a done deal. Terms had been agreed. It was only a matter of time. United were doing a bit of brinkmanship, but they were going to get the deal over the line. Didn't happen, obviously. And then, we brought in Alex Telles. Even that took a little while to get done, haggling over 2 and 3 million quid, which for a club the size of Manchester United, even in a pandemic, just is farcical. Brought in Edinson Cavani, who, he's looked okay since he's come in, but wasn't my choice. 33 years old, he's only going to be short term, and was a free agent. And we even waited that long to sign him that he couldn't play for the first few games because he's in quarantine, or the first league game, sorry. So, it's not been great. We brought in a few youngsters as well. And obviously, Donny van der Beek, who does look like a good signing, was the only time we spent any real money. I expected more, I hoped for more, especially after we finished third last season. But I think if you look at some of the other clubs, and I put Everton in that bracket of the way they've gone about their transfer business this summer, clubs that are in and around us, then it's even worse because, other teams have strengthened and got better, and we've just, at best, stagnated, really.
Yeah, that kind of leads nicely on to my next question. You just mentioned Everton there. Obviously, kind of think some of our business took some people a bit by surprise in the end. What did you make of Everton's transfer window?
I think you had a fantastic transfer window. I really do. I think you've got a good mix of sort of players who sort of almost have a little bit of star-like quality to them, and players that are effective and do a job, and it made sense. I think the thing about a transfer window is it's not necessarily who you're getting, it's whether you need them. If you go out and buy like 4 players who are amazing but they're all in the same position, it doesn't make any sense. But if you go out and you strengthen different areas, which is what Everton have done, then it does make sense. And I know you've had a bit of a sort of patchy start, should we say, a bit up and down. But from what I've seen, it looks like the new signings are sort of bedded in well. You've obviously got a very talented manager in Carlo Ancelotti, a massive fan of his. So, yeah, I think you've had a really good summer. And also, you've already got some quality there. I mean, I'm sure you're going to get into the team later. But, when you've got players like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for example, who's obviously a goal scorer, and you bring in someone like James Rodriguez, it's only going to sort of enhance his performances. Bringing in players like that quality to back up someone like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it does make a lot of sense. And I think you've had a really good transfer window. And I think, I don't want to sort of patronise you or anything. I'm sure you know better than I do. But I think you needed one because I think sometimes your transfer business, over the years, United has baffled me post-Fergie at times. But I think Everton has been probably the one club that's wasted more money than us at times. But that's not the case this summer. I wouldn't say that this summer at all. And I think there was rumours of Sergio Romero going to you guys. I don't know if you heard those stories. And United wouldn't let that happen, even though he's third choice. And I actually understood that, even though I like Romero, and I think you could argue he deserves a move. I think that Everton are a club or a team that should be challenging for the Champions League as well as us. So for us to give them a player that would have, or give you a player that would have strengthened you and helped you, it wasn't beyond the realms of possibility. I said this on transfer deadline day when it was all popping off that he might be going there. I said it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility for Everton to finish 4th and us to finish 5th, and Sergio Romero to play a part in that. So I can understand why that transfer didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's brilliant to hear coming out of last season. Obviously, we had a very disappointing end of the season. And that lockdown time, you obviously finished 3rd. Going into this season, I think in the league you currently sit 15th, 2 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses. pretty poor start of the season. I'm sure you agree. What have you really made at the start of the? We'll talk about the league first of all, then we'll get into the Champions League in just a moment.
I mean, listen, you know, you've just said it there. The what is it? The 15th. I mean, that's how bad it is. I'd almost forgotten where we were because I stopped looking at the table because it was that depressing. So yeah, you know, to sort of, for a club like us, I know it's only the start of the season, but we've had quite a few games now. It's not like it's the second game in. You know, we've had enough games where we should be getting our act together. And for us to lose 3 home games, I think it is it, you know, the Crystal Palace game, the Spurs game, and then the Arsenal game is terrible. It's shocking. And Ollie's under real pressure because of it. And you look at the Champions League, you think that's been our saving grace, the fantastic result against Paris, a very good result against Leipzig as well, but it would seem that many people thought, you know, could get a result at Old Trafford. At the time, they were top of the Bundesliga, and we absolutely, you know, in that second half especially, tore them apart. But then you go to Istanbul and you just don't turn up. And it's not just you don't turn up, the absolutely shambolic defending. It's just embarrassing, you know, schoolboy errors. And we're going into this Everton game. Let's not forget, you know, you guys have had a decent record against us over the last few years. You know, I know it's not been all your own way, but I go back to that result under Ollie, the 4-0 at Goodison, where the first time that Ollie sort of called out his own players and said some of them won't be here next season. And that was a real sort of moment, a watershed moment almost, where you thought, we need some serious surgery in this squad. It's not good enough. Now, we're going into this game, and after the start we've had, the losses we've had, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's under real pressure. And I think, I'm not saying I don't expect it to happen, but I think if we had a repeat of that result we had a few years ago, the 4-0, I think he'd be gone.
And you mentioned Istanbul there, very disappointing result only last night in the Champions League. I think there's some, I mean, the major issue there was definitely the defence, probably the same against Spurs. Is the defence the root of all your problems this season? Have there been issues elsewhere, or was that kind of the main issue?
I mean, listen, the defence obviously hasn't been great. And the thing with United is we seem to have this sort of, when our defence plays badly, it is the defence. It's like everyone in the defence. It's not just like you pinpoint one player and go, oh, well, Harry Maguire's had a shocker, or Victor Lindelof or Luke Shaw or whatever. It's like they all sort of have this collective responsibility idea that, I'll tell you what, if one of us has a bad game, we'll all do it. Now, I know you could argue that when one of your teammates plays badly, especially defence, it affects everyone else. But we literally see like goals where there's 3 or 4 mistakes from one player after the next that leads to the goal. You know, you go back to that Spurs game, and it was a comedy of errors throughout the team. You know, Luke Shaw not getting across to his man quick enough, Harry Maguire heading it upwards, Eric Bailly falling over, whatever. It was just constant like error after error, and that's been the sort of trait we've seen when it comes to conceding goals. You know, it's very difficult, or it's very rare you just say it's one player or one person who's responsible. It seems to be the whole defence doesn't show up, as was proven in Istanbul. You know, you look at the first goal, there's no one sitting deep, no one even on our own halfway line, and the counter-attack with Demba Ba, who's 35 years old, and he easily gets away. It's just embarrassing. And then for the second goal, again, the cross comes in, it's not cut out. The lad dummies it, I think. He's not picked up, and the guy coming in on a far post isn't picked up. So again, you know, there's 3 mistakes there where you say you'd expect 3 players to do better. So defensively, we've had our issues, but also, you know, you go back to the last game, 1-0 against Arsenal. Paul Pogba gives a penalty away, we lose the game, but we didn't score. 0-0 against Chelsea, we didn't score. You know, you can't blame your defence if you're keeping a clean sheet or even conceding 1 goal. You'd expect your strikers at home, especially, or your attackers, to get goals, and we've been scoring in sort of fits and starts, which hasn't been good enough either.
Yeah, and obviously you speak about your defence there. It's a big concern for yourself. We've had Calvert-Lewin kind of had a brilliant start of the season. Of course, we know Richarlison's going to be suspended. James Rodriguez, of course, has been very dangerous. Are they Calvert-Lewin and James Rodriguez the danger men, do you think, for Everton? Is there anyone else you're majorly concerned about?
No, definitely. I mean, listen, you know, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the one that you'd have to watch on because he's such an effective goal scorer. He is, and he's in that good, rich vein of form. And he's the type of player that sort of, you know, it doesn't matter what game it is. It doesn't matter if it's a big game, you know, we saw him against Liverpool, or it's a game against the lesser teams. He always turns up, he always gives it all, and he's always capable of getting you a goal. Do you know what I mean? Which is a worry. I mean, going back to, you know, some of your signings as well. Talk about Rodriguez. Alan, I think, he brought in from Napoli. Mm-hmm, yeah. You know, looks like a very good signing. Even like the lad from Norwich, you know, that was a good when you made that signing, Ben Godfrey, I thought that's a good sign. That, and these are all players that, you know, either have or can have an effect on the game in the Premier League. And you look at that, and a player that I've always sort of, I think last time I was on, I was asked to pick a player who would have from your team in ours, and I picked. I think Lucas Digne was my choice. Is he? Did you say he was suspended? Is he, or is he?
No, he'll be back for this game because his suspension got taken down to 1 game. So that was just.
Sorry, it did. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. I remember him getting a red, but I wasn't sure. And that disappoints me, actually, if I'm being honest. I wouldn't have minded him being suspended. I think he's a very good player. Can get forward. I know he's a fullback, but he can get forward, and he's someone that, like I said, when I was asked about, I admired. I think you've got real quality there now as well throughout the team. I think with Everton, just to prove a point, like last time when I was on here and I was asked, who would you have from our team? I'm not being on it. I'm not being funny, but there wasn't many. I was like, I think you've got. I remember saying to your co-host, I think you've got a lot of sort of 6 out of 10 players, if I'm being honest. And I think that's why you're not been challenging at the top end of the table. And I think Ancelotti's addressed that. He's getting better performances out of some of the players you already had, and he's brought in real quality. So, it's not a case now where I look at it and go, oh, Everton have only got 1 or 2. I think you've got a really good team. I think you have. I think you might suffer a little bit in terms of your squad strength. You haven't got necessarily take 3 or 4 players out of that team, and you might struggle a little bit, which is a sort of criticism United have had in the past as well. But no, like the players I mentioned there, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Digne, he's come back. I think, and also Alan is available. Is he? Yeah. Is he?
Yeah.
He's had a decent start from what I've seen anyway. Obviously, I've not seen as much of Everton as you or your viewers will have. But I think you've had a really solid start. And like I said, you've got 3 or 4 players there that I'm wary of, whereas in the past it'd only be 1 or 2.
Yeah, and on the other hand, we have looked a bit shaky in the last couple of weeks. Disappointing results against Southampton and Newcastle. Where do you see United hurting us? Who the key men for United that you see causing us problems?
Well, I'm hoping there's a response from Istanbul. And from the Arsenal game, and I'm hoping. I think Martial comes back. He's been suspended for the league. I'm hoping he sort of has a point to prove almost. I mean, he has got a couple of goals in Europe, but I think he's yet to score in the league. Obviously, he's been suspended for 3 games as well, so we'll want to put that right. Marcus Rashford, he didn't have a great game in Istanbul, but is having a good season. I think he's on 7 goals for the season so far. So I expect them to. And also, I mean, I'm not being very insightful. It's pretty obvious. I'm just going for who I think will be our front 3. I think Mason Greenwood as well. I think he's another player who I think he scored a goal in Europe, hasn't got off the mark in the league. I think, but I expect him to get a lot of goals this season. I expect them all between the 3 of them. They're not hitting at least 50 goals this season. Something's gone very wrong. So I'm hoping that those 3 can cause you problems, because I think they can cause any defence problems. They have done in the past. Not been amazing this season. We've had sort of more individual brilliance than the 3 of them playing well together. They've not always played together. Sorry, but yeah, those 3 players, I think, if they can get at the Everton defence, and a defence, as you just pointed out, hasn't been sort of infallible this season, has had some sort of chinks in their armoury, then I'd fancy us for this. But it's again, we need to turn up, because we haven't always been doing.
Yeah, we spoke about Ole before. There are rumours he could be sacked, but we're not going to really speculate. What are your thoughts on Solskjaer and his time in charge? Do you want him kind of staying around, but or if this is another poor result, are you looking to maybe move him on and bring in someone else?
I'm a big Ole fan. I think the sort of things you almost can't quantify at times as a fan, when you or as a pundit or somebody looking at it from sort of objective eye. Things like bringing pride back to the club, bringing a bit of confidence back to the club. We were at a low ebb when Mourinho got sacked, and Ole restored a lot of that. We went on an amazing run. We got some great results against City, which again gives you that pride. And going into the derby, actually feeling like you can win. I know as an Everton fan, all about disappointing derby, so I won't need to go down that route with you. But we had a lot of them, especially at Old Trafford, and Ole won 3 times against City on a bounce, which was especially a Pep Guardiola team, is almost unheard of. And sort of making us competitive again. We finished 3rd last season, which is good. We got to 3 semi-finals, which is okay. As a United fan, I expect us to be challenging and winning trophies, not getting to semi-finals. But, during those cut runs, there were some good results as well. So he has restored a lot of pride, and I like a lot of what he's done, especially with handling the youngsters, like Mason Greenwood, Brandon Williams, some of the other youngsters who've only sort of featured very rarely in Europe, but have gone out on loan, the likes of Garner and Levitt. I think he's handling the academy well, but it's a results business. I know that's a cliche, but it's true. And you can't lose if we do lose. What this could be if we lose to you guys, 4th defeat out of 8.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's awful form. That's relegation form, and I don't see a way through that. I think, especially with this board, who are trigger happy. You know, we've gone through a lot of managers since Fergie since Fergie retired. Also, Pochettino waiting in the wings. There's no secret there that, you know, a lot of people fancy him for the Manchester United job. He was on Monday Night Football the other night. I didn't watch it, but everyone was a lot of people on social media going on about it and saying how, you know, it's almost like a reminder for everyone that he's available and he could come to Old Trafford. So I think Ollie's under real pressure. In answer to your question, I'd like to see him stay because I think if he stays, he's successful. That's why he stayed. But you can't hide from the fact that this start to this season has been awful. He hasn't been backed. As I said to you about the transfer window, wasn't good enough. But even so, we've got to start getting some results because if we don't get results, regardless of whether I like him or not, he's going to go.
Yeah, I got a couple more questions. One's definitely relating to the match. One's just going to be a bit more general. I'm going to put you on the spot a bit. First of all, predictions for the game. What do you think might happen?
I think we'll get a result. I think we will. I think it's going to be tough. Like I said, you've got real quality, and our record against you isn't great. But I think we can get a result here. I think we need a result, and I think Ollie needs to sort of rally the troops, and I think they should step up. So it'll be close, and I think in terms of actual quality, I would say we've got the better 11. I'll be honest with you. I do think that, but I don't think there's a lot in it. Whereas in the past, I'd have looked at it and gone, oh, you know, like I said, only one of their players getting our team. I think it's much closer. So I think it'll be a close game. But I'll go with 2-1 United.
Yeah, okay. And then just to move away from the match, final question, we always like to ask something that's not quite related, put you on the spot a bit. What's your best, worst, strangest experience with a footballer that you've ever met?
My best, worst, I'll tell you one, because I used to be a reporter. And I did a mix zone for Man City versus Wigan when they were playing in the FA Cup final. And Fergie just retired, and obviously, you know, he got me on here because I'm a United fan. Mm-hmm. So I kept asking all the players about Fergie and retiring, and because I'm just that much of a muppet. And Edin Dzeko got really annoyed. He was fuming. And then when I switched to questions about the match and just asking him about the cup final, he was still fuming with me. So yeah, I've had a couple of experience interviewing players, but yeah, I remember Edin Dzeko particularly. He was not a happy bunny with me.
So there you have it. Thank you very much for coming on. Let's hope. Well, I hope for a good result for Everton at the weekend, maybe not for United. And thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to check out Jay's social media down below. Check out the Toffee Blue social media. Let us know in the comments down below what your predictions are. Have you got any best, worst, strange experiences of winding up Edin Dzeko in a tunnel anywhere? So thank you very much for watching and join us next time on the Toffee Blues.